Liverpool fans have been left stunned after Paul Scholes made a bold and unexpected statement that has sent shockwaves through the fan base. The Manchester United legend didn't hold back as he shared his honest thoughts on one of Arne Slot's biggest challenges this season, and his comments have sparked fierce debate among supporters. What Scholes said has divided opinion, with some calling his assessment fair, while others insist he's gone too far. Let's break this down in today's video, along with all the other Liverpool news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. But first, Liverpool were claimed to have open talks over a deal for Real Madrid's Rodrigo over the summer, with the Brazilian insisting speculation was rife because he kept quiet. The 24-year-old was reported to be considering his future with Real Madrid over the summer after a marginal role at the Club World Cup, seeing several clubs linked to a transfer. Liverpool were among them and linked by the likes of ESPN Brazil and Spanish publication AS. But their forward business was solely focused on Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike. Rodrigo had been mooted as a possible replacement for Luis Diaz, and while the 24-year-old has not dismissed offers were received over the summer, he told AS he always intended to remain at Real Madrid. "Every summer, the same thing happens to me," Rodrigo said of his summer of speculation. "Whether I'm going to leave or whether I have offers from this club or that. Every week I was in a team if I paid attention to what was published. Of course, there are always offers. I'm not going to lie about that. But I always made it clear to the club that I want to continue succeeding here, even more than I already have. It's a lot to have won 2 Champions Leagues at my age, but now I want more European Cups in this shirt. I've always said, as long as Real Madrid wants me, I'll be here. If one day Real Madrid says to me, 'Rodri, find a team,' I'll say okay. But that hasn't happened." He added, "The club has always told me they count on me. And when I had a problem, they were there for me. People speculated because I kept quiet, but I knew what I was going to do this season with Real Madrid and that I'm going to be focused on giving my best. It hasn't bothered me. I was calm, and here I am as always. This is my 7th season." Rodrigo, who almost joined Liverpool at 16, has featured 8 times this season, but has started only 2 games. And he says while he wants to play more, he likes the level of minutes I'm getting. There is plenty of upside when it comes to the Brazilian, and Michael Edwards is a known admirer. But it is clear the 24-year-old never entertained the possibility of a transfer. Now, in a huge claim by Scholes, Liverpool's season has taken a worrying turn, with Arne Slot's men slipping to a 3rd straight defeat, a bruising 2-1 loss at Stamford Bridge that deepened the sense of unease around Anfield. The Dutchman's reign, so promising in its early stages, has suddenly hit turbulence, and the club's marquee summer signing, Florian Wirtz, finds himself at the centre of the storm. Against Chelsea, Liverpool's defensive frailties were laid bare. Connor Bradley endured a torrid evening, with Gary Neville singling out the young fullback for criticism as the Blues repeatedly found joy down the flanks. The absence of Trent Alexander-Arnold loomed large, a reminder of just how integral his creativity and composure are to the Red structure. Upfield, the focus once again turned to Wirtz, whose arrival from Bayer Leverkusen was supposed to signal the dawn of a new creative era. Yet 11 games into his Premier League career, the German prodigy remains without a single goal or assist, a far cry from the dazzling form that made him one of Europe's most coveted young talents. On the Overlaps fan debate show, Paul Scholes and Jamie Carragher dissected Liverpool's slump and the struggles of their new number 10. Scholes in particular offered a sympathetic yet honest assessment of Wirtz's growing pains. "I think for Wirtz, because the midfield players around him aren't in form, he's not playing as well," Scholes explained. "Last year, Gravenberch was brilliant. He sat there and controlled everything, but it hasn't been the same this season. When you play the number 10 position, you've got to have security in behind you so you can relax. It's a fair point. Wirtz thrived in Germany because he was free to roam, his natural rhythm unbroken by defensive responsibilities. His game is built on instinct and flair, gliding past challenges, threading impossible passes, and dictating tempo in the final third. But in a Liverpool side struggling for balance, those instincts are being stifled. Scholes continued his praise for the youngster's potential while offering a note of patience. There's obvious talent there with Wharton. I love watching him. He's just not quite ready, but you could say that about 7 or 8 of Liverpool's team at the moment. It's a matter of time. He's coming to a new country and he's 22. He's so young and has an unbelievable ability. I think he'll get it right as long as they get it right and behind him. Because that then gives you that freedom. It gives you the license to do what you do best because the others can win the ball and get it to you. And that's then when you have Isak and Ekitike running off you. I think he'll be off and running soon. Carragher nodded in agreement, noting that Liverpool's system under Slot demands adaptation, not just from Wirtz, but from the entire squad still adjusting to the manager's tactical blueprint. In other news, Adam Wharton has Liverpool among his suitors, but Crystal Palace are planning new contract talks with the midfielder as transfer interest grows. Wharton's reputation in the Premier League is growing week on week, and although he remains overlooked for England's senior squad, he is a player in demand. According to the Mail Simon Jones, Liverpool continue to show interest, as do Real Madrid, with Bayern Munich, Man City, Chelsea and Tottenham also name-checked. At the back end of last season, reports stated Palace valued the 21-year-old at up to £60 million. But Jones has claimed that value is now in the £75 million bracket. It is another sizable markup on the midfielder, but it is in keeping with the ability he possesses, and Palace are now planning to offer improved terms and a potential release clause. The latter will be of keen interest to his suitors, who will have kept tabs on how Palace operated over the summer. Eberechi Eze had a £68 million release clause in his contract, but neither Tottenham nor Arsenal triggered it before the deadline as they deemed it too expensive. The Gunners eventually signed Eze for £67.5 million, as Palace were able to leverage the interest from the North London rivals. Wharton, whose current deal runs until 2029 without a release clause, will be more than aware of the interest he has from clubs across Europe, and Palace will know a bidding war is possible. The 21-year-old is well regarded for his line-breaking passes from the base of midfield, a hard-working deep-line creator who would tick plenty of boxes for Liverpool. As per FOTMob, no player has created more chances than Wharton, 5 in the Premier League so far, while FBref have him in the top 7% of midfielders across Europe for shot-creating actions, 3.94 made per 90 minutes. At just 21 with 104 senior club appearances, Wharton has an incredibly high ceiling and would elevate Liverpool's midfield options. All things considered, Liverpool's continued admiration for Adam Wharton makes perfect sense. The midfielder's mix of composure, vision, and defensive discipline fits neatly into Arne Slot's evolving system, while his age and potential make him an ideal long-term investment. Palace's move to open contract talks and insert a possible release clause may complicate any short-term pursuit, but it also gives Liverpool a clearer picture of what it would take to secure his signature. If Wharton maintains his current trajectory, the battle for his services could become one of the defining transfer stories of 2025, and Liverpool appear determined to be right in the thick of it.